Hey everybody, what's going on? And welcome to GNR Central. And I want to talk about something that a lot of Guns N' Roses fans have always wondered about, and that is who exactly is Beta? It's somebody who a lot of Guns N' Roses fans have now become familiar with over the past 18 years or so. But I want to do a true story about who she is, and she's given a few interviews over the past 20 years or so, or 25 years. So it's kind of given us an insight into exactly how she came into Axl's life and what her role is today. So if you guys were Guns N' Roses fans back in the day, then probably the first time you ever became familiar with Beta was in the 1993 Estranged video. Now, a lot of people didn't even know who this woman was back then, but this is Beta. She's shown like for a glimpse, for a quick second, walking out of Axl's house. So back in the day when Axl was dating model Stephanie Seymour, Beta was the nanny for Stephanie Seymour's child, Dylan. So the Estranged video was released in December of '93. A month later, Axl and Slash appeared on Rockline to promote the spaghetti incident. Now, this is the first time that I can recall where anybody has mentioned Beta's name. So at the very end of the interview, Axl and Slash give a shout out to people who are listening, and you can hear Axl give a shout out to Beta. Here's the clip.
Special thanks tonight to Tom Maher and Doug Goldstein of Big FD Management and John Reese, to Warren Christensen of Geffen Records, and finally to our guests tonight, Axl Rose and Slash. It's great to have you guys here, and especially to have you together, man. It's been a real treat.
It's been a great time.
It's bizarre that we're here together. It's a good thing.
But it's bizarre in a good way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, better.
It's been great. My name is Steve Downs. See you.
So in the year 2000, Rolling Stone published an article called Axl Rose, The Lost Years. So they talked heavily about the years from 1994 to 2000 when Axl was really out of the public eye. And this is when people started to get a better sense of exactly what he's been doing the last 6 years and who's been in his life at that time. So there's a mention in there about his housekeeper, Lebeis. She does most of the shopping and driving. Axl reads, works out, kickboxes, plays pinball, teaches himself guitar and computers, and tries to write lyrics. So one thing that's mentioned in the article, and something that was kind of glossed over when Axl was arrested in 1998 at the Phoenix airport, is why he was in Phoenix to begin with. And people dug a little bit deeper in the article, and the journalist found that Axl started visiting Sedona dating back to the early 90s, and that's where one of the most important people in his life at the time lived, who was a psychic known as Yoda. She's since passed away, and she's thanked in the liner notes of Chinese Democracy. But it's not clear exactly how Axl got involved with these people, but Axl would make frequent trips to Sedona, and he would normally be accompanied by Beta or his bodyguard at the time, Earl. So in the year 2001, Guns N' Roses played Rock in Rio 3 in Brazil. It was the first time that a lot of people really saw Axl since 1993, especially if you weren't paying close attention to the band. So he brought Beta. He gave a really rare interview following this concert. Now, it was published in the Brazilian Journal in March of 2001, but she shed a lot more light about her own life and how she came into Axl's life. And she talked about a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't know about him and even about her. So she revealed that she and Axl live together, but she also has her own house very close to where Axl lives. And she also said every now and then her younger son, Fernando, lives with Axl and them as well. She was also asked about whether she was a housekeeper and how she organizes everything for Axl. She said that's the correct word because everyone asks, what do you do? She said, I'm his personal assistant and I also organize his house and I coordinate the personnel. She also revealed that she advises Axl as well. She said, I give him my advice whenever he asks. He accepts my opinion very much, He never took it bad. I have to see the person in every possible angle. You have to see it in 360 grades. Now, keep in mind, this interview is translated from Portuguese. There's always something good in each person. So if he performs any contracts with the new band, this is his decision. He only asks me what I think about it. He wants to know if I should do that or should not. And he asks if he is being fair. He is worried about being fair. He doesn't like to do anything which is not true. He always wants to do everything right because he gets worried of what they may say about him. He wants everything to be clear, so I think that I influence him pretty much, but at the same time, this worries me because I'm afraid of this responsibility. She also revealed that she entered his life following his split with Stephanie Seymour. She basically said, I started working with Stephanie in February, and in May, she started going out with Axl. So February of 91, she started working, and it seems they had something before this. She also revealed that once him and Stephanie Seymour broke up, Axl asked Beta to personally stay with him and help him out. So she also revealed that her and Axl both believe in past lives. She said, yes, I do, and Axl believes in them also. As a Brazilian, I believe in this. I find it impossible for two persons who never met to get along so well. When I opened the door and he was there, I felt like I'd known him for years. So she also revealed the reasons for him and Stephanie Seymour breaking up. She said because Stephanie used to bring so many people to Axel's house and Axel found out. He adored her. She moved to New York and Axel called me to work with him and I accepted because between Axel and her, I was always sure I wanted to be with him. He beats her 100-0. Even though he is a man, our friendship is amazing and I really trust him. He is what he says he is, and Stephanie was in a certain way with me and in another with others. He values me much more than her. She also talked about her own past life and how many children she has. So she revealed in 2001 that she had 3 children. They were 24, 23, and 22, and that she was divorced for about 15 years, and she pretty much raised her children by herself, and that she's a very protective mother. She also talked about what she did before she moved to the U.S. She said, I worked in Quaker in Santa Catarina. I was an executive secretary. I moved to the U.S. because the situation in Brazil was very hard, and I was divorced with 3 children. I thought that I wouldn't be able to raise my children the way I wanted to raise them here in Brazil, and there were 3 little children. I raised some money and I left by myself, leaving the children with my mom, and I've brought them over one by one. She also revealed that after her appearance on Rock in Rio 3, everybody started to phone her. She said, I never thought this could happen. I was translating what Axel said and he suddenly called me to stage. I thought he was just going to thank the public. Then he said, 7 years ago, and I started to choke. I didn't know anything else. Then his manager took me to the stage. There he was translating everything wrong as I didn't know anything. It was very hard to translate a person who was talking about you. I was very nervous and I can't explain what I've been through the moment to face all these people. She also talked a bit about her love life. So she said, I lived 12 years with my father of my children in Brazil. In the last 4 years of our relationship, I didn't know he had been married to another person, and it was a great shock. Today, he's the owner of his own company, and I suffered a lot with his family. I moved to the U.S. and I remarried an American. After 6 years, he said to me, he was not ready to be married, and as he didn't know really how to say this to me, he just took his stuff, put them in a car, and left. That was my second separation. I've always get in too deep into a relationship, and I want everything to be okay, and then I suffer a lot. Now I think I have a goal. Either finish my mission with my children or I don't do anything else. I'm afraid of getting involved with someone again and then get hurt. I've placed a barrier in my love life and I have no one. I work and I take care of my children. So in 2011, Axel gave a rare interview to the LA Times. So Axel was on tour with Guns N' Roses as part of a settlement that he had that basically was a result of a lawsuit that happened between him and his former manager, Irving Asoff. So during the interview, we learned that Axel no longer had external managers. So he talked a bit in the interview about how managers at that time wanted to just basically try to sabotage the current lineup of Guns N' Roses and get a reunion going and make a lot of money off of it. So in the interview, it said, more importantly, he adds, most managers want the same thing that nearly every rock and roll fan of the past quarter century wants, and that one thing he stubbornly refuses to do, reunite with Slash, Izzy, Duff, and the rest of the classic GNR group for a tour. The constant question is an albatross and leaves Rose not only tired, but wary of anyone in the business looking to work with him. All these managers, they all believe in one thing, sell a reunion tour and get their commission. It's just a phone call, it's half a day's work, or however long they want to keep the bidding war going. They get their commission and they don't care if it falls on his face, Axel said. So the mistrust is partially the reason why Rose's current management team is more family than business partner. So it's headed by Beta, a Brazilian woman Rose met when she was with his girlfriend Stephanie Seymour's assistant. She began working for him after his relationship with Seymour ended in 1993. So Beta's 2 children, Fernando and Vanessa, round out the management group. And Beta says that this arrangement is the result of an ultimatum she gave Rose after Guns N' Roses' most recent manager, Katsis, left the fold after less than a month on the job. So Beta said, we decided no more managers. So Beta basically said that between me and Fernando and my daughter, we're dealing with the management. Beta also added that she characterizes Rose as more than a son to me, and that after the most recent manager's departure, I told Axel if he hires another manager, I quit. The reporter also noted that at least one of the 3 members of Team Brazil is always at Rose's side, be it in paparazzi photos or the side stage during concerts. Now, Axel would also bring Beta up on stage over the past 7 or 8 years jokingly and have some fun with her on stage as well. So here's another instance that happened back in 2011.
Hey, guys, you want to help me out with something? We've been trying to figure something out for a very long time. We've been trying to figure out whose fault is it. And I think we know, and I need your help. So when I say whose fault is it, I want you all to say, Beta. Think you can help me with that? Okay. Whose fault is it? Okay, I need a little louder. I don't think she heard you. You know, her dad's standing right over here. I think he needs to hear this. Whose fault is it? One more time. Come here, Betta. Let's have Papa Betta come out. This is Betta's father and Betta's sister. So, 1, 2, 3. Whose fault is it? Thank you. Thank you very much. She beats me all the time. It's an abusive relationship.
So even today, Guns N' Roses is still managed by Team Brazil, as they call it, and Fernando is now the manager of the band. So Axl gave that interview back in 2016 with Duff on Brazilian TV, where he talked about Fernando kind of worked his way up. He did some menial tasks or lower tier tasks, when he was younger, and then he sort of built his way up and got a lot of experience doing different things while the band was out on tour and kind of proved himself to Axl. So that does it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know your thoughts on Team Brazil down below, and be sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoyed that video, and go check out gnrcentral.com for the latest and greatest Guns N' Roses news. Take care.